Hello friends, welcome to second lecture of town planning, in which we are going to study brief history, Greek and Roman towns. In this lecture, we are going to study the development stages of town planning in India, such as ancient India, Vedic period, Indus Valley civilization, Buddhist period, medieval period, Mughal period, pre-independence or British period, and post-independence period. This slide refers to ancient town classifications such as Dandaka, Sarvotobhadra, Nandyavarta, Padmaka, Swastika, Prastara, Karmuka, Chaturmukha. During ancient period, houses were built up of kiln bricks, bathing establishment is provided, a common well is constructed, effective drainage system which was laid under the walkways and finally connected to main sewers laid under the main roads. Provision of manhole and inspection chambers were there. System of great bath 7 meter wide and 12 meter long and 2.4 meter deep was also provided. Watertight surrounded by toilet and private baths were made. The Indus Valley culture collapsed due to natural catastrophe. After centuries later, it was occupied by Aryan invaders. During ancient India, the civilization had greatly developed as that of ancient Mesopotamia. The cities had a highly advanced system of town planning. The city was built systematically. The streets were 9 meter wide, divided the city in 12 blocks, each block at measuring 365 meter by 244 meter. The layout was based on grid and plan. The various sizes and number of stories of the housing were allocated. No direct opening on the main street was made. Houses with open central courtyard were designed and planned. No windows towards the subsidiary walkways. No provision of roof lighting and ventilation was taken into consideration. Hello friends, welcome to second lecture of town planning, in which we are going to study brief history, Greek and Roman towns. Slide refers to ancient civilization in India during Vedic period, and the principle of town planning were incorporated in the book written, namely Vishwa Dharma Prakashana. It is the first book in the town planning. The principle holds good even today. The Mansara Shastra deals with many aspects of town planning. The importance of studies like study of soil, climatic condition, topography, fixing orientation to get the maximum advantage of sun and wind were also given in the book, and layout of various town plans such as Dandaka, Swastika, Padmaka, Nandyavarta, Prastara, Chaturmukha, Karmuka, etc. were also mentioned. In this slide, we will see the town planning development during Vedic period, in which the main streets called Rajmarg were aligned east-west to get the roads purified by the sun rays. Short streets were aligned north-south direction. Roads running around the village called Mangal Vidhi were reserved for priests. The books also refer to the qualification and moral qualities of town planner, emphasizing that he must have mastery over the science of planning. In Ramayana and Mahabharata, we come across the description of the cities of Ayodhya and Indraprastha respectively, that the cities had neatly laid out houses, buildings, spacious thoroughfares, tanks, lakes, garden, parks, etc. This slide refers to the Indus Valley civilization phase 1. Also, Harappan civilization and Saraswati Sindhu civilization were shown in the map. It is developed between Indus River and the Ghaggar Harka River, which is located in Pakistan and northwestern India now. following provisions were made during the Indus Valley civilization, in which sophisticated and advanced urban culture was given a thought. Streets in perfect grid pattern in both the cities, namely Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. World's first sanitation system was developed. Individual wells and separate covered drains along the street for wastewater was proposed. Houses open to inner courtyard and smaller lanes. Impressive dockyards, granaries, warehouses, brick platforms and protective walls were planned. Massive citadels protected the city from floods and attackers. City dwellers, traders and artisans were allocated. All the houses had access to water and drainage facilities. During Indus Valley civilization, villages were converted to cities, grew in size and density, surrounded by numerous towns and villages. Cities interlinked by trade and economic activities, religious beliefs, social relations, etc. Even during Indus Valley civilization, vast agricultural land, river and forest by pastoral communities, fisher folk and hunters surrounded by each city were planned. During Indus Valley civilization, development of cities were made, and the classifications of towns were made in the form of small villages, large towns and cities based on the areas. For small villages or hamlets, they considered the area up to 10 hectares, whereas for larger town, they considered the area in between 10 to 50 hectares, and for the cities has been classified if the area of the city is more than 50 hectares. Important cities during the Indus Valley civilization were Mohenjo-Daro, Harappa, Ganevarila, Rakhigari, Dholviria, Rahmandali. This is the important town developed during the ancient period called Mohenjo-Daro. The salient feature of construction technique used during the Mohenjo-Daro were buildings, masonry constructed by sun-dried bricks, ranging from 2 rooms to mansion with many rooms, underground storage and drainage from houses, helical pumps for pumping water in great baths were used. Principal buildings, monastery and bath indicating a religious culture was also designed and planned. During development of Mohenjo-Daro, following specification of town planning was used, such as no fortification, major streets in north-south direction, intersection at right angles, street within built-up area were narrow, distinct zoning for different group of activities were made during development of Mohenjo-Daro. Various religious, institutional and cultural areas were also developed around the monastery, and great bath in the western part was introduced. Specifically on the north side, agricultural and industrial allocation were made. Similarly, on the south side, administration and trade and commerce activities were and the spaces were allocated. This slide shows the two ancient cities, namely Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa. This slide refers to plan and construction of great bath which is provided in the ancient town, namely Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, having the dimensions 12 by 7 by 3 meter, where watertight floor made up of thick layer of bitumen was constructed. Floor slope extends towards southwest corner with a small outlet connecting to a brick drain. Generally, the great bath is provided in the east side. This slide refers to granary, having a dimension of 50 by 40 meter and 4.5 meter tall. Massive mud brick foundation was used, in which 2 rows of 6 rooms along the central passage having a width of 7 meter paved with baked bricks were constructed. Each room at measuring 15.2 by 6.1 meter has 3 steeper walls with air space between. A wooden superstructure supported in some places by large columns would have been built on top of brick foundation, with stairs leading up from the central passage area. Small triangular openings is provided as an air duct to get the fresh air beneath hollow floors. The large size of granary probably indicates a highly developed agricultural civilization. The following figure shows the construction of granary. In this slide, we will see the provision made in the ancient town classification, namely Dandaka, in which streets are straight, cross each other at right angles at the center. The villages has 4 gates on 4 sides. Generally, the shape of the village is rectangular or square. Width of street varies from 1 to 5 danda. 2 transverse street at the extremities have single rows of houses. The village office located in the east. The female deity Yama Devata located outside the village, and the male deity in the northern portion, which is located in the Dandaka. This slide refers to ancient town classification, namely Sarutobhadra. This type of town planning is applicable to larger villages and towns which have to be constructed on square sites. According to this plan, the whole town should be fully occupied by houses of various descriptions and inhabited by all classes of people. The temple dominates the village. The typical layout of Sarutobhadra is shown on the right side. This slide refers to ancient town classification, namely Gandhavarta. This plan is used for the construction of towns and not for villages. It is generally adopted for small sites, either circular or square in shape. Includes 3,000 to 4,000 houses. The streets run parallel to central adjoining streets, with the temple of presiding deity in the center of the town. Nandyavarta is the name of a flower, the form of which is followed in this particular layout. In the figure, you will see the different allocations made for temple, tank, palace of king, court, residences for Brahmins, schools, monastery, hospital, theatre, residences for artists, quarters for other caste, residences for hunters, gates, walls. This is a typical layout of Nandyavarta. In this lecture, we are going to study the development stages of town planning in India, such as ancient India, Vedic period, Indus Valley civilization, Buddhist period, medieval period, Mughal period, pre-independence or British period, and post-independence period. This slide refers to ancient town classification such as Dandaka, Sarotobhadra, Nandyavarta, Padmaka, Swastika, Prastara, Karmuka, Chaturmukha. This slide refers to Prastara, one of the town classification. The characteristic feature of this plan is that the site may be either square or rectangular, but not triangular or circular. The sites are set apart for the poor, the middle class, the rich, and the very rich. The sizes of sites increasing according to the capacity of each to purchase or build upon. The main roads are much wider compared to those of other patterns. The town may or may not be surrounded by a fort. The typical layout is shown for Prastara, which includes the allocation for temple, tank, monastery, college, hospital, residences for rich, very rich, middle, poor, and walls. During ancient India, the civilization had greatly developed as that of ancient Mesopotamia. The cities had a highly advanced system of town planning. The city was built systematically. The streets were 9 meters wide, divided the city in 12 blocks, each block at measuring 365 meters by 244 meters. The layout was based on grid and plan. The various sizes and number of stories of the housing were allocated. No direct opening on the main street was made. Houses with open central courtyard were designed and planned. No windows towards the subsidiary walkways. No provision of roof lighting and ventilation was taken into consideration. Hello friends, welcome to second lecture of town planning, in which we are going to study brief history, Greek and Roman towns. This slide refers to regional consideration in Chanakya Arthasasthra. In this, congested towns should be freed of surplus population, which should then be housed in new place. Town positioned to help each other. Migrated people in new settlement exempted from payment of taxes for some years. The new village consists of high proportion of agriculturists and Shudras. Also, there is a provision of market, sale of goods received from traders on highways. During regional consideration, dams constructed over river nalas, temples and gardens should be provided. Arrangement for the aged and the children and informal persons were also made. Cereals and wealth will grow if the agriculturists are kept busy. Attempts should be made to protect and increase quarries, forests and canals. In this slide we will see the town planning development during Vedic period, in which the main streets called Rajamarg were aligned east-west to get the roads purified by the sun rays. Short streets were aligned north-south direction. Roads running around the village called Mangala Vidhi were reserved for priests. The books also refer to the qualification and moral quality of town planner, emphasizing that he must have mastery over the science of planning. In Ramayana and Mahabharata, we come across the description of the cities of Ayodhya and Indraprastha respectively, that the cities had neatly laid out houses, buildings, spacious thoroughfares, tanks, lakes, garden, parks, etc.